Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing no b-roll in today's video, nothing like that, because this is a long video, so we're going to be jumping straight into it. So today's video is going to be a little bit of a living room, lounge room refresh, which I have had on the books to do for the longest time. And I am so excited to actually finally be doing it and to be able to share it with all of you. So we will be starting off with this picture frame. It has some damage done to the corner, and I did look at replacing the frame, but everything else about it still works really well. I didn't want to have to buy a brand new one and scrap this one completely. I did check secondhand stores, but I couldn't find any of the right size that I really liked that would go with the rest of them. So I thought I already have pretty much all the equipment that I need to actually repair it. So that's what we're doing here. So I'm using the 2-part epoxy glue to fill in the gap and give it a really strong, firm hold. I then add a tension cord to it, tension cable like this blue one here that you can see. So like what you use to hold cargo down on utes and roof racks, that kind of thing. So using that one to hold it all in place with a cloth, just to make sure it doesn't damage the frame with its tension whilst it dries. This particular epoxy glue is supposed to be set and ready to use within 5 minutes. I did leave it for 24 hours though, just to be sure that it was fully set all the way through. And then once it was set and taken outside, I sanded down the glue section, painted over it with some chalk paste. You can see here the repair job. It's not perfect, it's not flush, but it definitely is keeping it more structurally intact. And then I sprayed it with a top coat to keep it protected and to ensure that it doesn't leave black marks on my walls. And then I went on to making some paper templates to be able to put on the wall and space out exactly where I wanted all of my artwork to go on the walls. Using this method as well means you can mark where you want the hook to go based on the individual picture frames hanging situations. And that makes that whole process of figuring out where to put the hook really simple as well, because you can hammer it straight through the paper once you have them stuck up with your painter's tape, and that way you're not getting it put in the wrong place after all your measuring and difficulties with that. So I really do love this trick to be able to hang your artwork where you want it to go. So next up, we are actually moving into the living room to actually start working on it. So since I was going to be doing a refresh, I thought it'd be a good idea to do a bit of a deep clean through the lounge as well, because it was due for a deep clean anyway. So I'm starting off with my Bissell Pet Pro carpet cleaner and giving the rug a good thorough shampoo. As part of the deep cleaning process, I always pull forward my sofas so I can get underneath and clean those as well as find anything that may have gone missing underneath them. So those 3 cards that I picked up were from my daughter's memory card set, the matching cards memory game. So those were missing, and obviously being a matching cards and having 3 missing means the game is definitely not working the way it's supposed to be. So pick those up. Also going over the skirting boards and giving those a clean as well. I also did need to bring out the sofa so I could get behind to be able to put the pictures up on the main wall in the living area, because above this sofa is where we will be doing a bit of a gallery wall. So at this point I just want to also sort of explain really quickly that what I'm doing today is a little bit of a refresh. So there is, and it is absolutely on a budget, so there is no new main furniture coming in. The actual furniture layout is going to stay the same. It's more a decor sort of an update, just to make everything feel a little more thought out, I guess, or put together. So for instance, the artwork on the walls prior to this update were very few and far between. They're too small for the space. It just looks really, really bizarre. There's a lot of dead space on the wall, and then these kind of like haphazardly stuck up pictures, which were put up when we first moved in years and years and years ago, and when we had different furniture. So they just really needed a little bit of an update. So that is what the goal is today. So we're going to be using those templates. So as you saw me make one, these are the rest that I made for all the other frames that I had, and just going through putting them together in a way that I like. And then once I'm happy with the layout where each of the frames are going to go, I can go through and, using those marks that I left on the paper, I can add in the hooks and then just tear the paper off around the hooks and then hang up the actual frames. This is a few days later. So that other day with the gallery wall, I finished it up and then just continued a little bit more cleaning over on the side. I pulled out our corner table and gave everything a dust off and a clean, and then continued up. So this is a few days later, and I am just doing the template trick again for a couple pieces of artwork that I actually had upstairs in my home. So I did not buy anything new for the art in this room at all. This is all stuff that we had around our home that I've just pulled in. So the little gallery wall that's now going on in the shot there, that was all artwork that was already in this living room, but they were just spaced out really bizarrely across the entire room. And then these two were upstairs in our room. It's two of my favorite pieces of art that we have in the house, but they were always upstairs in the master bedroom where no one saw them except us. So I thought I would bring them downstairs and into the main living area so they can actually be appreciated a little bit more. I do also want to just make a point that this is, like as I said, a few days later. You'll notice that throughout the footage of today that my outfit changes a lot. That is because this project was a little bit done each day. So I continued on with my normal daily tasks, my normal daily items that I needed to do. And then anytime I had a free moment, I would do 1 or 2 jobs. There is one major push at the end where I kind of pushed through just to try and get it done and finished off. But realistically, I was only doing like maybe 1 or 2 things a day, because there's only so much you can get done in a day, basically. And you should never put so much pressure on yourself that it becomes a stressful experience rather than an enjoyable experience. Continuing along with the deep cleaning, we are also tackling the upholstery on the sofas. So bringing out that Bissell cleaner again, this time adding on the upholstery attachment and going through cleaning the cushions and the side of the sofa. I also took off all of the covers for the throw pillows, and those are in the machine being washed. And this is the state of the living room the next day. So I couldn't finish off all of the sofa cushions the same day because I did run out of time. I also knew we would be using the living room later that evening, and it was getting very close to school pickup, etc., wind down time, and I didn't want to have damp seats. So I finished up with where I was on that, and then first thing the next morning, which is now, I actually passed that, I finished off the rest of the seat cushions, and they are all cleaned and just sitting there airing off. So whilst those were sitting airing off, I started on vacuuming the rest of the sofa underneath to make sure there was no food in there, and then I started to remove everything from the sections because there were some patching sections on the windows that had to be sanded and repainted before I could move on to the next stage of hanging up the curtains. So during this whole process, you can see my dog wandering in and out, feeling very, very anxious because he didn't understand why the bed was being moved, like his dog bed was being moved, why the sofas weren't available for him. He's basically a giant retired couch potato, and he couldn't couch potato anywhere, so he was very anxious, the poor baby. But he is back. Like, he was very, very happy at the end of that night when everyone finally settled down. And again, moving all the furniture out so I can clean underneath and behind it in this particular situation as well, because I was about to do some sanding on those windowsill repairs. I definitely wanted those electronics as far away from the dust as possible, but won't lie, I was a little bit lazy. I didn't want to bother getting a drop sheet. The dust wasn't going to be too intense because I was hand sanding it to keep it under control, and I managed to keep it really under control, which was really nice. The furniture as well is very easy. It's heavy, but it is very easy to move by myself because all of our furniture have either felt pads at the bottom or actual furniture sliders designed for hardwood. So for instance, the giant chest that the TV is sitting on, that is an incredibly heavy chest, but it's got very thick felted furniture mover pads underneath it that you can't see from the front. It's not attached to the chest at all. It is literally held on with its own weight, and it's a really, really good trick for being able to move furniture by yourself, is to just always have it there, and it doubles up as floor protection as well for your floors and your furniture. So highly recommend that if you ever feel like you need to move furniture but you can't do it by yourself. Definitely have a look into the furniture sliders. You can get them for carpet as well.
Again, that I haven't seen you.
After the windows were patched, sanded and painted, they were left to dry for a little while, and then the blinds were hung back up, and now it is time to install and hang my new curtains. So the curtains and the curtain rod were the only items that actually had any money spent on them for this living room refresh. They are very, very budget because they are IKEA. And as we know, IKEA is very budget friendly for a lot of their stuff. And one of the things that impresses me most is actually their curtain range. They've got some really nice curtains for a really good budget price. And the curtain rods as well are super reasonable. So I wanted to have a curtain rod that went the entire length of my room. That is an incredibly expensive curtain rod to have for that length, because I'm talking like almost 4 meters solid. So IKEA turned out to be a really, really good budget alternative for that look that I was going for. So hanging them up for now, I've got 3 brackets and 1 large curtain rod that runs all the way along with the end pieces, and I am hanging them as close to the ceiling as I possibly can. We have a very small room and our ceilings are not very high, so I am taking every opportunity to draw the eye up and make the ceilings feel much, much taller.
Holding us closer, meadows of our youth, 107 days, but recalling it backwards, our dreams holding us closer. Ooh, we can see so clear. Ooh, we can see so
When choosing the curtains that I wanted to put up into the living room, I wanted to go for something that was quite soft and tactile without being boring. So I really wanted them to not only work as a way to draw your eyes up and be quite a linear addition to the room, but to also add some softness, because everything in the room was quite square and needed a little bit more softness to it. I thought a little bit more comfort and cozy kind of a feeling, but I still wanted them to be stylish without being striking. So simple but stylish, and I guess a little bit elegant. So I ended up opting for these curtains from IKEA. I am really, really sorry, but I do not remember exactly what the name was of this particular set, and I can't seem to find it, but they are absolutely gorgeous. I think they are sheer, they are cotton, and they have this very simple sort of linear design of just lines running down, which adds to that effect of getting you to look up when you look at them without even realizing you're doing it. So now at this point, all of the hardware items have been done, all of the drilling, the painting, everything else that needs to happen, all of the cleaning underneath the furniture and on top of the furniture and the shampooing, all of that good stuff. The cushions are all dried, the sofa cushions are all dried as well, so it is a matter of putting the room back together and doing a few final touches. So for instance, here I'm messing around with my pillows. I don't love a lot of the cushion covers, so I'm trying to figure out a way that I will like get a bit more of aesthetic, which is why there are so many different sort of aesthetics happening in the cushions there. And then I thought I would take a break from that and unwind my pothos, which as you can see is looking very, very, very happy. And I decided I would like to actually trail that up the walls, so using some clear command hooks onto the walls, just using those to help support the vines as they grow, and I can add to them as they grow as well. I know that this look is quite an acquired kind of a taste for a lot of people. Tim is also, he's coming around to the idea of it now, but it did give him a bit of a oh kind of a moment, but I love it. I think it's amazing. Our taste is definitely closer to the eclectic style, in which case more is more is more, and I really do love it. It makes me so happy walking into this room at the moment and seeing all the greenery everywhere growing up the wall. And this is the final shots, guys. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you some inspiration, hopefully some motivation to take on one of those home projects. Everything is possible to do within a budget. As I said, the only thing I actually purchased was the curtains and the curtain rod and brackets for the curtain rod. Obviously everything else was just shot from around my home. So that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming along. Remember to hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week for the next video.